morning, welcome back. The Adventures of Mac Anthea. As you've probably guessed from the title of the video, today we're going to be addressing the issue of cab security in motorhomes and camper vans. And more specifically, securing the cab whilst we're asleep in the motorhome and camper van at night. So why the need, or why specifically the need for extra cab security? Unfortunately, a lot of the cab doors, especially on an older motorhome like ours, are fairly weak, as we found out when we were in France one year. France, as you probably know, people who've travelled through France, is very accommodating to motorhomes, and they don't get their knickers in a twist so much as they do in other countries like England and Spain, so they're quite relaxed about everything. Unfortunately, it does tend to attract a lot of criminals to motorhomes, and having your motorhome broken into overnight whilst you're actually sleeping in it is fairly common in France, and certainly a lot more common than, say, the UK or Spain. Now, we've actually experienced this, and I really shouldn't have done, because I was a bit of an idiot, to be fair. I've travelled many times through France with my lorry and various other vehicles, and I know full well, never under any circumstances should you park overnight in the rest areas off the motorway. The chances of you actually getting broken into or robbed whilst you're parked on there are higher than you not actually getting robbed on there. There's actually gangs that go around and travel up and down the motorways. But on this occasion, we were on the outskirts of Bordeaux. We were 20 kilometres away from any other exit. We were tired, and I thought, yeah, we'll risk it. And it ended up biting us in the arse. The guy tried to break in. Luckily, alarm went off, and I made it down to the front door before he even got through it. And he was off running across the field. So, that was the end of that. But it still meant we ended up with a damaged door lock. And it did actually sink home to us the need for the added cab security. Now, there are several ways you could do this, which are effective to varying degrees. And I've done quite a bit of research and looked into it before I came to the decision on what I want to actually do with our motorhome. And the thing I'm going to show you today, I think, is the best out of all the options at securing the motorhome. Now, obviously, if thieves really want to get in your motorhome, they're going to get in it. You know that. You've got glass separating them or plastic on the rear window, so they're just going to smash the windows and climb through if they really want to get in. But anything you could do, obviously, to deter that, and stop that from happening is always a good option. And I think for sure this is the best option. So I think in a minute, what we're going to do is we'll get in the motorhome. I'll show you the option what I've been using up to now, which is through the door handle option. I'll show you that option and what you could do if your seatbelts aren't long enough, which is a fairly good temporary option until you get a better solution, which we're moving on to today. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do now, we've got limited space in here, and I'm going to try not to get in the way of the camera whilst Anthea tries to film it. This is what we do now currently to secure the camera. Whenever we go out anywhere, we go to sleep at night, this is part of sort of the routine we go through. So what we do first is we slide the seat as far forwards as it will go. That means that people have got the actual obstacle of the seat in their way if they do manage to get through your cab door. Okay, so hopefully we'll get this into shot without getting in the way of the camera. So what we do is reach across, you grab your seat belt, you thread it through your door handle, pull it back to here, and then plug it in. Now, a lot of the time it isn't quite long enough, but you can buy these extensions, which you can plug into your seat belt, and then plug that down into the receiver here of the seat. I hope you can see that. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you outside and show you how successful or efficient this method is. So this is a bit of a difficult one, really. I mean, obviously, if you don't have any sunscreens in, a thief can instantly see that you've got the seatbelt around the handle. That might discourage him. But the other thing is he instantly knows that you're probably not in the motorhome, and you can see through the windows to see if you're in the motorhome. Whereas if you've got the sunscreens in, they don't really know if you're inside there or not. So it's one of those, which one you go for, really. I suppose it depends on how you feel, individually how you feel about it. But anyway, let me try this. As I pull the door handle, it will open, but that's about as far as it goes. But the problem is you can get your hands sort of inside here, and you can give it a tug. And with a great deal of force, chances are they're going to end up opening the door and tearing your door trim, your door card off completely, and possibly doing more damage to the motorhome than actually anything they're going to steal out of it. So yeah, it is a solution. It's a good temporary solution until you find a better one, which is what we've been using it for, but it's not ideal. So I've been looking at other options since then and researching to see what I've got. I did sort of look at some universal locks that sort of go on the inside here, but they look particularly difficult to fit because you've got varying contours going at different angles. It's hard to actually get anything mounted flat on there. It also means that you'd have to drill holes in there, which, okay, isn't the end of the world if it's done properly and that. But it's not easy. It becomes a major task, and, you know, with spacers, and you'd probably have to do some milling and make an adapter to get that to fit flat on there. It makes a lot of work. So, yeah, it was considered an option, but, you know, it is a lot of work, like I said. So we're sort of kind of dismissed that. We also looked into the ones as they do one where it's like a bar, and it goes in between the glass of the door and sinks down into the back of the door there, and then it bridges straight across your cab, and then you slot it in the same on the other side. Gotta say, I wasn't keen on that. I don't really like things being jammed between the glass, and I've visions, you know, as if there's any sharp edges or sharp edges over the time, it must score the glass and eventually, you know, lead to shattering it. So I dismiss that one also. So then I look more into more dedicated car locks, ones that are made individually for individual models. And that's why I found something which I thought could do the job. It works out expensive, more than I want to pay as usual, but maybe that's just me being cheap, you know. But it is a definite solution and an easier solution, which should be a hell of a lot less time consuming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you over and show you what I've come up with. Okay, so this is what we've come up with. These are HEO safe security cab locks. And this is specifically made for the Fiat Ducati 244. They do them from all the other models as well. I'll put a link in the description down below. I'm not affiliated to this in any way. And I bought these ones from Germany, and they cost me around 133 euros with free delivery to Spain. So, say a bit more than I really would have liked to have paid, but if they do the job and I haven't got to do a lot of work, that'll be fine. So we'll quickly open them up and have a quick look, and then we'll get on with the job. I've looked at these, I've got absolutely no clue what these are for. So, yeah, some little security stickers there to, hang on, let's get you out of the shadows. Yeah, security stickers there to go onto the windscreen, so probably help a little. And then this is the actual thing, and what I think you're meant to do is you unscrew the screws from your door handle, you know, and your armrest. You slide this between the sort of the steel of the door and the door handle, and then you put the screws back in, and that should be it. To lock it, you push, try it with your hands, you get better in shot. Push on that and turn, and that goes up over the edge of the door frame around the seal. So it's fairly simple. They do these ones also where you've got one with a lock. I didn't want them purely because part of our evening routine is I go out for the front doors, go and put the security bar across the side door, which is obviously another weak point, and then I go back through the cab and I lock these. Now, I'm not terribly comfortable with that situation. If we had a fire, we can't get out the side door, we have to go out through the cab door. And the last thing I want to be doing if we did have a fire in the motorhome is not only not be able to go out the side door, but then have to contend with keys and unlock these before we get out the cabs. I'm thinking, yeah, that's just that little bit too dangerous. I'm going to try and find another solution for locking the side door as well from the inside as well, because again, it really is a fire hazard and quite dangerous to have it locked from the outside and not be able to use the side door to escape. So I think that's more or less enough for the talky bit. Let's get on with the job and see how well these fit. Okay, so in theory what we have to do is we have to undo these two screws here and slide this in behind, and then just really tighten the screws back up through this plate. That's the theory of it. So let's see how well that works in practice. So on this particular model, you've got a star wrench type screw, so they're not particularly tight. So unscrew them. Okay, these are not a self-tapping bolt, they're actually a threaded bolt, so they should be fairly secure and tight. And plus they're quite long. So, okay, done. So let's have a quick closer look. So I'm well impressed with that. The finish is perfect. It fits round perfectly round there. In fact, it really looks like it's meant to be there. Remember to turn that back. The bolts go through perfectly. That took less than 5 minutes. So let's get inside, shut the door and see if they actually lock onto the frame of the door. Okay. Very slightly, but only just touches there, which I suppose it needs to really, but it doesn't catch. It's not going to do any damage to the door seal. Okay, that's close. You push, turn, and that's on. So we'll quickly nip outside, give the door, try the door from the outside. Yeah, that's not moving at all or going anywhere. Brilliant. Okay, so there you go, that's a brilliant solution. I mean, like I say, it's a little bit expensive in my opinion, but hey, that took less than 5 minutes, so what you're paying money, you probably save yourself in time. And they work extremely well, and they're extremely good quality units. They fit absolutely perfectly. So, yeah, well impressed with that. Now, I'm not going to bore you with doing the other side of the actual van. As I said in the previous videos, you know, we're actually preparing to go to northern Spain now, and that's just one of many jobs we've got to do. We're not going to get through all the jobs that I've got on my list, so we're having to prioritise them, and this one wasn't the highest on our list. I've got an ABS problem that needs sorting out, but I've just had a couple of weeks here in Spain and sorting out some bureaucracy, which just sucks the life out of you completely. And I just couldn't face handling an ABS wiring fault or trying to diagnose that today, which is probably going to end up being a circuit board fault. So yeah, just couldn't handle it. I've had to do something easy, and I can tell you, it doesn't get much easier than that. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description below. They do this model, they do various other models. I should think they do all models, I'd guess, you know, because this is quite an old motorhome now. I fully recommend this this part, even though I'm not affiliated to it in any way. So hopefully the video's been some help to some of you out there. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.